What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would just sit down and film a get ready with me. I haven't done one of these in such a long time, but I don't know. I just wanted to chat. I have so much to tell you guys. I've been away now for like 2 weeks, and part of that was a vacation, and the other part I've been sick. So a lot of you guys already know because you follow me over on Instagram, or you might have seen my community tab story that I put up last week. But basically, I caught the Rona, as my brother-in-law likes to call it, and I've just been really, really sick for the past week and a half or so. I'm finally on the mend, and I haven't worn makeup in like 10 days. So I'm just ready to sit down and just put some makeup on and make myself feel better. I've been quarantined in my house, and I really haven't had much contact with anybody. We completely missed seeing our families on Easter. I talked to my husband and son a little bit here and there, but like way from a distance. And it's just honestly been very lonely. And yeah, so I thought it would be fun to just sit down and talk to the camera and let you guys know how I'm doing and how everything is. So I'm just gonna use older makeup for the most part. I actually didn't even unpack the bag from my vacation because I got sick right when we got home. I figured it's gonna kind of be hard to talk and like review new makeup at the same time. So what I'll do is just leave all of the makeup that I'm using down in the description box below. So let's just go ahead and get started. So what do I want to talk about first? I guess just how I'm doing. I am doing so much better than I was. I know that this illness can kind of run the gamut from like no symptoms to really, really bad. I feel like I was somewhere in the middle of that. I had a little bit of a sore throat on the last day of our vacation, and then the first day we were home. I still had my sore throat in the morning, but it was like in the afternoon, it just started going rapidly downhill and basically felt like I had the flu, like fever, chills, aches, headache. I just really felt bad and like super bad fatigue where I was like, I couldn't even get up. I was just wanting to lay in bed basically. And by the next day, I felt kind of similar, but already like a lot better. I was able to kind of get up for a little while. And it was such a beautiful day. It was like in the 80s here. So I went outside on my front steps and I just kind of sat in the sun. I wanted to soak up some vitamin D. But still, if I was out of bed for too long, I felt like kind of weak and very just lightheaded. So by the next day, I already like had all my energy back. I felt basically like I had a bad cold. And that's what it's been like ever since then. So really it was like 2 days of feeling really bad, and then past that, just mainly like all the cold symptoms started to come out. I started to get like the runny nose and the cough and all of that. I still have a little bit of congestion, like you can probably hear it in my voice, but it's pretty much like 98% gone. I feel almost back to normal, which is great. I don't have any lingering like tiredness. I know, I was really concerned because a lot of people have told me about like their long COVID symptoms, and, not to say that that still couldn't happen, but I feel hopeful that I don't feel that way right now, that I just feel like I completely kicked it and I feel back to normal, which is a good thing. I've been trying to figure out like how I got it because I am like the world's biggest germaphobe. I wash my hands like a million times a day. I'm super, super careful about germs, overly so. And, obviously we were on a trip and everything, but like my husband and son were with me every minute of the trip and they didn't get sick. But obviously I still don't want to take the chance, so I've been staying away from them anyway, just in case. But on a happier note, our trip was amazing. We took a road trip. I didn't really share too much about it before we left, but basically we left Connecticut on April 2nd, which was Saturday, and we drove to Ocean City, Maryland. That was really not a destination for us. It was just a place to kind of stop over on our way to the south because we didn't want to drive all the way to Myrtle Beach in one trip. So we drove about 6 hours to get to Ocean City, and it was really cute. They had like a little boardwalk there, actually a big boardwalk. The only thing is though, most things were not open because it was very off season there. It was really, really cold. We walked around. We went in a couple stores that were open. They had like a big Ripley's Believe It or Not museum at the end, so we went in there. So that part of the trip was just kind of like, okay. We stayed in a Marriott hotel, a Marriott like courtyard that's right on the boardwalk there. So it was pretty. It was just like your basic hotel. And then the next day we got back in the car and we headed for Myrtle Beach, which was like about a 7.5 to 8 hour trip from Ocean City. So we were in the car a large portion of the second day, but we took this Chesapeake Bay Bridge and Tunnel section, which goes from where we were in Maryland across to Virginia Beach. And it basically goes across the whole bay. And when I was looking into it, this thing is like a complete marvel of engineering. It is a bridge that's like 17 miles long. And every once in a while, the bridge goes underwater in a tunnel for about a mile or so that ships can pass over because it's not a high bridge. It kind of goes right along the water. It's a little freaky to be out on a bridge for 17 miles. I don't like bridges to begin with. And that was just like, ooh, I didn't like it. And the tunnels I really didn't like. So I actually told my husband to drive that part of the trip because I just was not interested in doing that. But it was a really nice drive. It wasn't that bad. And we were able to see like the leaves and all the flowers coming out on the trees. Like the further we went south, it started to get more green. And when we got to Myrtle Beach, the weather was beautiful. It was so gorgeous. And the hotel we were staying at was also a Marriott. We had stayed there in the past, like around 10 years ago, we went there. And it's right on the ocean. It was an absolutely beautiful resort. They had nice pools and hammocks by the beach. And it was just the most beautiful spot. And we had this really pretty balcony, and my son loved sitting out there every day. That was like his favorite thing to do. And there are a lot of really like family friendly things to do in Myrtle Beach. So one thing we did was we went to the Ripley's Believe It or Not aquarium, and it's a really big aquarium. They have so much there, and they have like this shark tube that you can go through where you can see all of the fish and everything like all the way around. So that was really neat. My son absolutely loved that. And then they also had like a glass bottom boat ride in the aquarium that you could take. So we did that as well. That was really fun. Also in Myrtle Beach, we went to this Pirates dinner, which is kind of like a dinner theater similar to medieval times, but it was pirate themed. And Dolly Parton actually owns it, and they bring you really great food, and the show was incredible. They had like all of these pirates doing these acrobatics and jumping into the water, and it was just a really good story. It had good music. We loved the pirate dinner. That was really fun. Also, they just have really beautiful like shopping areas there. They have one called Barefoot Landing that kind of reminds me of a little like New England village, very similar to if any of you have ever been to Mystic, Connecticut. Just like that, very quaint, like old Mystic village with just tons of little shops, and it's on like a lake with a boardwalk area. There's all kinds of restaurants and places to eat. And then there's a bigger one just like that that's called Broadway at the Beach, and that one is just kind of like a bigger version of Barefoot Landing. They have a lot more stores and restaurants and kind of like nightlife there. It almost reminded me of Disney Springs a little bit. We also went to the Celebrity Wax Museum there, and we took some pictures with some of the wax figures. So you probably saw those on Instagram if you follow me over there. That was really fun. That was my first time at a wax museum, actually. So we had a good time with that. So yeah, we were there for 3 days total. And there's just a lot to see and do, and we really missed it when we left. We felt like we could have stayed there for a lot longer, and probably next time we would. So then after 3 days in Myrtle Beach, we drove down to Charleston, which was only like a 2-hour drive from Myrtle Beach. And I've also been to Charleston before, but we stayed in a different hotel. This hotel that we stayed in Charleston, I kept calling it the apartment because it was basically like an apartment, but it was a Hilton hotel downtown that has basically all suites. So you could get like a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom. I think they had like junior suites and 1-bedroom suites that you can get as well. We got the 2-bedroom so that like Henry would have his own room. And this place, it was like a luxury apartment. I'll show you guys just quickly. Like I did a little walking tour. We had a full kitchen with like a huge dining table in it. The cabinets were beautiful. The appliances, everything was so new. It actually smelled like paint in there. Like they had just freshly painted. We had like a living area with a huge flat screen TV on the wall and like this beautiful view of the city out the window. And then the 2nd bedroom where Henry slept had like the 2 queen beds in it. Again, just like really pretty furnishings. And the bathroom, gorgeous. There were 2 bathrooms actually. This was his bathroom. So there was a full like shower, sink with a vanity, and then a toilet. We also had a washer and dryer in this apartment, which was incredible. I actually did some of our laundry while we were there. And then the master bedroom had like a king size bed and also like a flat screen TV on the wall. We had like a full bathroom again. This bathroom had this huge soaker tub, and it had one of those mirrors that has like the TV in the mirror so you can watch TV while you're getting ready. It was crazy. It had a smart toilet that had like a heated seat on it, like the bidet thing that comes out. It had like a cleaning function where every time you stood up, it would spray cleaner in the toilet and like clean it for you. It was a crazy apartment. We loved it so much. I wanted to live there, honestly. Like it was nicer than my house. So we really enjoyed staying there. And Charleston is just beautiful. It's just such a like old historic city, and it's all about the food there. Like the food was incredible. We ate at so many good places. We ate at Poogan's Porch, which we had eaten at 10 years ago when we were there. We weren't as crazy about it though this time. I heard that it changed hands, so the food was a little different than it was last time. I just wasn't quite as impressed with it. I think that was probably the only meal that we like weren't crazy about when we were there. We also ate at a restaurant called 82 Queen, which was so good. And I had eaten there in the past before as well. I'm trying to think of where else we ate. I can't think off the top of my head. Oh, my husband wanted to go to a barbecue place, so Poogan's Porch also has a barbecue restaurant now, so we ate there one of the nights. And we did walk around the city and do some shopping, like on the first day, but then after that, we kind of drove outside of the city. We went to the Magnolia Plantation, which is just beautiful gardens everywhere. You kind of like wander around in the woods, and there are all these really pretty like white bridges going across the swamp. It almost looks like a fairy tale forest or something. So pretty. It was a little overcast the day that we went, but the weather was so nice and warm, and we just had a great time. We actually saw a lot of wildlife there as well. We saw alligators just kind of hanging out in the swamp like as we were walking by, which was a little bit unnerving, but we just, they didn't bother us, we didn't bother them. We saw really beautiful birds, and it was just a nice time. And then we went to another plantation called Boone Hall, and this was actually where they filmed part of The Notebook. It has this absolutely stunning entrance where you go in and there are all these big oak trees planted along both sides of the driveway, and they're kind of hanging over in the middle with the Spanish moss hanging down. It was just like so breathtaking. We had gone there 10 years ago, and I really wanted to go back because it's just one of the most picturesque spots in the Charleston area. I think it just looks like something out of a movie, and it is. So we visited there. We also went to Patriots Point, which is an aircraft carrier that it's the USS Yorktown, and it was used in World War II and also in Vietnam as well. So we toured around inside the aircraft carrier. They let you go down into all the like living quarters, and it was a little freaky. It was very claustrophobic. I wouldn't recommend it if you get claustrophobic, because you have to kind of climb down all these little ladders, and then like the ceilings are very low down there, and the decks just keep going and going, and you can really like get all the way down in there. My husband wanted to go down to the engine room, and when I looked down, it was like, I don't know, like 5 or 6 ladders you had to crawl down, and I was like, nope, not going down there. I'm done. Like, I wanted to go back up, but that was really interesting to see, and definitely like a big piece of history. I feel like my son, he's maybe a little bit too young still to appreciate all of that. We really, I feel like he had the most fun in Myrtle Beach because we were doing kind of more like kid-friendly activities, and then in Charleston, there's just a lot of history and a lot of shopping, obviously. So I feel like he had the most fun in Myrtle Beach for sure. So we stayed in Charleston for 3 days as well, and then it was back to Saturday again. It had been a full week that we were gone, and on Saturday morning we left Charleston and we headed back north to Williamsburg, Virginia, actually where I got this sweatshirt. And that's another like very historical place if you've ever been there. It's like a 1700s village. They have all the people like hanging out in costume, and they basically act like they're from that time. So you could go up to them and ask them a question and they'll answer you like they're from the 1700s, or they'll walk past each other on the street and say something about someone in the village. Like they really are in character the whole time. So that's kind of neat. And again, like you just learn a lot about American history when you're there, but I feel like for my son, it was a little bit boring. So by the time we got there on Saturday, we really didn't have a lot of time. We just went to dinner because you can just walk into Colonial Williamsburg and just walk around for free if you want to, and you can visit the shops and you can eat there, but you have to pay admission if you want to go into the little buildings and hear the talks that the people give. So we did that the following day. We actually went back and paid the admission, and we took all the little tours. Busch Gardens is also there in Williamsburg, and we planned to go there, but it was so cold that we decided we just didn't want to be outdoors anymore once we walked around Colonial Williamsburg. So we just kind of decided it's not the right time of year to go to Busch Gardens. So we just went back to the hotel and hung out, and then we had dinner. And then Monday we drove back home, and that's kind of when I started feeling not so well. So that's basically the whole trip in a nutshell. I feel like it was so much fun though. I would definitely do it again. I didn't mind the driving, and my son was a trooper. He basically just watched movies the whole time in the back. He's one of those people that doesn't get car sick if they watch movies or read. I do. So I'm glad that he was able to entertain himself that well, and he did really well. He watched like a few movies back to back, and we were there. Yeah, that was basically our entire trip and everything that's happened in the past couple of weeks. Like I said, I do feel so much better now, so I will for sure get back to filming on like a regular basis. I really did miss filming, and the past 10 days or so, like I said, I just haven't felt well enough to even put on makeup, so it just feels so good to sit down and like do a full face again. I'm starting to feel like myself again, and for a while there, it was just really, really depressing being in a room by myself. At first I was just watching like old movies and going online and all that, but it gets old after a while, and you just miss talking to people, you miss seeing everyone. So I'm just so glad to be on the other side of that now, and I'm just so thankful that it wasn't worse than it was, because it easily could have been. So anyway, guys, that is everything. I hope you enjoyed this little chit chat. Get ready with me. I appreciate you hanging out. If you made it all the way to the end, thank you so much. Please don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. It really helps out my channel. And also, if you aren't subscribed yet, I'd love it if you hit that subscribe button before you go. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you all in my next video. Take care, guys. Bye.